wake up, they're feeding us lies. They're playing games with our minds, it's no surprise. They selling dreams, but we're paying the price. They control the narrative, but we'll take back our lives. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to an exploration of a long-lost civilization, the Tartarians. An enigma wrapped in a conundrum, the Tartarians have been a subject of fascination and intrigue for centuries. This civilization, known as Tartary, has its roots deep in the annals of Western European literature and cartography, dating back from the 13th to the 19th centuries. Imagine, if you will, a vast region stretching from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean, encompassing what we now know as Central Asia. A territory so extensive it boggles the mind. This was Tartary, a realm that has since faded into obscurity, its name slowly erased from maps and history books as our knowledge of the world expanded. Yet the echoes of Tartary still linger, whispering tales of an empire that was more than it seemed. This was the Tartarian Empire, a concept that has inspired countless theories and speculations. Some viewed it with apprehension, the specter of Mongol invasions casting a long shadow over its history. Others saw it as a wellspring of spiritual knowledge, a beacon of enlightenment in an otherwise darkened world. But perhaps the most captivating of all is the theory of an advanced Tartarian empire, a civilization that supposedly boasted technology far beyond its time. An empire separate from the Mongols, one that was, in essence, a world unto itself. In 2019, many people watched in horror as black smoke poured out of Notre Dame de Paris, the 12th century Roman Catholic cathedral. An orange blaze spread across the roof, and it seemed the historic building might be lost. After the fire went out and experts assessed the water damage, some people may have felt comforted that a restoration plan was in place. But truth theorists who believed in the Tartarian Empire felt otherwise. To them, it was just another example of Tartarian architecture being demolished. People who believe in the Tartarian Empire contend it was once a sophisticated, worldwide civilization with impressive architecture. Because such an empire is not mentioned in history books, but it seems it has been intentionally erased. Join us as we delve into the enigmatic history of the Tartarians. The Tartarians, an empire shrouded in mystery, have left their mark on history. Their origins remain elusive, with various theories attempting to piece together the puzzle of their early history. What we do know is that the term Tartary was used from the 13th to the 19th centuries to describe a vast region in Asia, stretching from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean. This expansive territory included Central Asia and was often associated with the Mongol Empire. The earliest mention of the Tartarians can be traced back to Western European literature and cartography. However, the lack of concrete evidence about their early history has led to speculation and conjecture. Most of the empire was supposedly lost in a series of mudslides, typically referred to as mud floods. Some buildings remained and still stand today. Famous landmarks, such as the U.S. Capitol building, falsely claimed to be built in 1800, are claimed actually to be from the Tartarian Empire and to be thousands of years old. Some historians suggest that the Tartarians were a nomadic people, moving across the vast Asian steppes, while others propose that they were settled communities in Central Asia. The Tartarians were not merely a geographic or political entity, they were also a cultural phenomenon with a unique way of life, customs, and traditions. Despite the scarcity of historical records, it is believed that they had a strong sense of identity and a well-structured society, and they were a black civilization. The term Tartary fell out of use as the new Europeans of the region expanded, and terms like Central Asia and Siberia and Russia started to replace it. However, the name Tartary and the image of the Tartarians as a powerful and mysterious empire continued to captivate the imagination of many. The Tartarians' early history is a fascinating study of an empire that has been largely forgotten by modern historians, because they were a black empire, and they couldn't take the fact that black people did this. Their story was not totally erased because their impact on the world is undeniable. They were a people who left their mark on the vast stretches of Asia, and their legacy continues to intrigue historians and researchers alike. The Tartarians' early history sets the stage for their rise to power. As we delve deeper into their story, we'll see how this mysterious empire rose to prominence and how their influence shaped the course of history. At their zenith, the Tartarians were a force to be reckoned with. During the height of their empire, stretching from the 13th to the 19th century, they are the ones who build the Wall of China to keep the Mongols away. Tartary was seen as a vast, all-encompassing region. From the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean, their dominion touched upon numerous cultures and civilizations. The Tartarian Empire was not only vast in geographical terms, but also influential in its societal structure. The society was known for its complex hierarchy, with the Black Royals at the pinnacle of this structure. These royals were not only rulers, but also custodians of the empire's cultural and intellectual wealth. And it's this wealth that carved the unique identity of the Tartarian Empire, a legacy that transcends time. This period saw the Tartarians exercise unprecedented influence over the areas they controlled. Their reach extended across vast territories, encompassing what we now know as Central Asia and even parts of Siberia. The empire was a melting pot of diverse cultures, languages, and traditions, a testament to their expansive rule and the adaptability of their governance. The Tartarians were not only rulers but also pioneers of their time. They were known for their advanced technology, which, according to some great theories, was far superior to anything known to the rest of the world during this period. This technological prowess is often seen as a testament to their intellectual might, and it further solidifies their standing as an empire of great influence. And yet, despite their vast empire and far-reaching influence, the Tartarians were not immune to the ebbs and flows of history. Like all great empires, they too had their share of challenges and adversities. However, it's their resilience and adaptability that allowed them to leave an enduring legacy. The Tartarians' influence was far-reaching, their legacy enduring. Their story is not just that of an empire at its peak, but also a testament to the indomitable human spirit that continues to inspire and intrigue us even today. Every empire has its rise and fall, and the Tartarians were no exception. The Tartarian Empire, once a realm that stretched from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean, began to crumble under a multitude of factors. The Tartarian Empire's downfall can be attributed to both internal and external influences. Internally, the empire was plagued by succession crises and power struggles, which weakened the once unified front. As the empire expanded, it became increasingly difficult to manage the diverse cultures and territories under its control. Externally, the empire faced growing pressure from neighboring powers. As the Tartarians' influence waned, these powers seized the opportunity to expand their own territories. The Mongol invasions in particular were a significant blow to the Tartarian Empire, marking the beginning of a steady decline. As the Tartarian Empire was gradually absorbed by the surrounding powers, and they may have been exterminated, so the identity of Tartary began to fade. European knowledge of the region expanded, while they were also being exterminated and replaced by the new Europeans. And the once feared and misunderstood Tartary began also to lose its place in the maps and literature. The term Tartary fell out of use, replaced by more specific regional designations like Central Asia and Siberia and Russia. The Tartarians' downfall was not just a geographical or political event, but also a cultural one. The once vibrant and diverse black cultures of Tartary were gradually assimilated into the cultures of the conquering powers. This cultural absorption further erased the distinct black identity of the Tartarians. Despite their downfall, the Tartarians left an indelible mark on the pages of history. Their story, marked by the rise and fall of an empire, is a testament to the dynamic and ever-changing nature of human civilization. They may have disappeared from contemporary maps and literature, but the Tartarians continue to live on, their history a fascinating exploration of an era long past. The fall of the Tartarians marked the end of an era, but their story continues to intrigue us. With their disappearance from history, the Tartarians have become a subject of numerous theories. Their enigmatic past, along with the intriguing allure of the unknown, has given rise to a plethora of speculations, conjectures, and good questions. One of the most prevalent of these theories suggests that the Tartarians were not just a vast empire, but a technologically advanced civilization, far beyond their contemporaries. Proponents of this theory often point to the intricate and sophisticated architectural designs found in regions once considered part of Tartary. They argue that these structures, with their elaborate detail and complexity, are evidence of an advanced knowledge of engineering and architecture. This could be the greatest lie about our common world history. The Tartary civilization encompassed most of the world we know today, from Russia to China to Africa to India to Australia and New Zealand to the North and South Americas. They have been swept from modern history books and were likely destroyed in the 19th, 20th centuries along with many of their amazing buildings. They also claim they build all these structures with horses and chariots, which is a lie. There are numerous documents proving that there were also giants with them. Could this giant be Dul Qarnayn, the giant sent by God, with knowledge to help humanity? Could he be the one who constructed for the people all those same model structures in the world? Is a possible theory to explore because he is in the Quran and he was a giant. God also said that the people of Ad build palaces everywhere. In 26:128-129 Hud says to the other giants, "Why do you build a landmark on every high place in vanity and construct castles as if you are going to live forever?" That verses could also solve the puzzle. What if these civilizations found these structures and build cities around? The only way to know it was built by a giant is the giant doors of the structures. But we can never deny their advanced technology. As the story shows, the people of Tartary were destroyed by the same advanced technology that controls our weather today. They were flooded, firebombed, earthquaked, and likely had directed energy weapons used against them. And many of their bones are buried under our cities today, like the Paris underground, the catacomb. Their old word order was a benevolent society where they used sacred geometrical designs, pipe organs and cotillion bells to help and to heal and to achieve higher consciousness. All of the architecture and technology we know of today was developed by the Tartars. The 18th and 19th centuries were the final book burning and removal from historical knowledge of this once great black civilization that flourished up until just 100 years ago. After the mud flood cities were emptied as if they were exterminated. Footage shows a horror film showing what they have done. It was an organized whitewashing from America to Europe, Australia, Asia. They set fire all over the world to destroy the structures and history of the black civilizations of the past, to create fake narratives. Everything was ordered to be destroyed, repainted, or burned. Books prior to 1900 must be destroyed, they said, and that's what they did. But they could not destroy civilizations that was smarter than their primitive and barbaric ways. They also says that the world wars were a disguise to destroy many structures around Europe. Sometimes you just have to pay attention because the answer is in front of you. You will find traces of erased black civilizations ready to be discovered. But their story didn't end there. Instead, it took on a new life, fueling conspiracy theories and debates about their true identity and the extent of their technological advancements. We now know that they had already electric cars, flying engines, robots, video calls, free electricity from the ether. They had underground cities and amazing trains and more tech that we recently so-called discovered. But it already existed. It was hidden from us all this time. The Tartarians' history continues to captivate us, prompting us to question our understanding of past civilizations. The Tartarians' legacy extends beyond their historical footprint. They have left an indelible mark on our perception of history, challenging us to consider alternative narratives and perspectives. They serve as a reminder of the vast, untapped depths of our historical knowledge, beckoning us to delve deeper, to question more, and to continuously seek the truth. Their influence also resonates in our modern world. The questions they pose about power, technology, and civilization resonate with our contemporary debates. They provoke us to reflect on our own society, its trajectory, and its potential fate. In the end, the Tartarians, a black civilization, continue to captivate us. Their story, filled with power, decline, and enduring mystery, invites us to explore the uncharted territories of our historical understanding. They remind us that history is not the fixed narrative that they have created, but a dynamic, evolving discoveries of hidden black civilizations that they are trying to hide. The Tartarians, a civilization shrouded in mystery no more.
Check out the original mobile phone from all the way back in 1940. Here is the ARC Cambridge car phone. This is just one of the many models offered from that time. But hold the phone, because we got an awesome video of them in action. On a side note, I've always loved how the interiors looked on these older cars. The style and aesthetics, and the phone just goes perfectly with that.
Type of mobile telephone service was used when our friend Mac called from his mobile telephone. This service is designed to provide a means of communication for those who travel in city areas as well as those who travel along intercity highways. Any place having regular telephone service or any vehicle having mobile equipment can originate or receive a call.
Let this first picture put it into perspective. The mud flood is what appears to be a realm-wide cataclysmic event, a flood of such that left behind several meters of dirt, burying buildings and structures of the time. But the intriguing part of the mud flood isn't the burial of the physical structures, but how it buried so much of our true history. And this was a deliberate fact by the controllers that run this realm today. And if you want to find out more about the mud flood, just follow this channel or research the mud flood and fall of Tartaria.
Just so you can kind of see that, look at that detail. Look at the archways. Look at the detail on the inside. There's even horses up here, and check this, angels right here. Lots of angels in 1893 in all of these buildings. Lots and lots of angels. Now what's interesting is on the top of it here, it says, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make ye free." Well, interesting, because social media always censors the truth, so it doesn't sound like they're going much for us being free. So this is the first page. This is just the introduction of what I'm about to show you today. So then we go to another page and we move forward and we see more angels on a ship. You guys see all that? So this was all built, just overnight kind of. That's what they kind of told us. They prepared the people. Then we have what looks like almost like the Colosseum, and this statue is made out of gold. This statue was moved. It's still partially located in Chicago, but they did move it. But look at those arches. This is remarkable. I mean, we can barely build a square box nowadays, and this is what they were building in 1893. Just look at the detail. Look at that. And then you also have angels on top, and then you got horses on top as well too. Now, I have 3 books, so we're going to go through pictures and pictures. Yes, plaster, they tell us. That's what people were commenting below. This was all plaster. Plaster.
Been hiding the true answer to this question from us. Why are these doors and windows halfway in the ground? During the early 19th century, strange events were reported worldwide. Cities were being dug out from layers of mud and debris. Buildings were being revealed that were covered to their rooftops in mud. A global cataclysmic event buried entire civilizations, erasing them from history. But here is where it gets rather unsettling. The Tartarian Empire, an empire often depicted in old maps, was an advanced civilization that existed across Europe and Asia. They built architectural marvels, had access to advanced technology, and were able to harness energy from the atmos. The mud flood, many say, was a deliberate attempt to wipe out Tartaria from history, hiding their advanced technology and knowledge. But it gets even darker. Look at the world's fairs of the late 1800s and early 1900s. These elaborate buildings, resembling ancient architecture, were supposedly built in just a few years. After the fairs, they were supposedly demolished. Was this to erase evidence of an advanced pre-existing civilization? The Chicago World Fair in 1893, the Paris Exposition in 1900, and the St. Louis World Fair in 1904. These events showcased magnificent architecture, and on official papers they were apparently built with plaster and wood. Do these look like temporary structures to you? The sudden disappearance of these architectural marvels raises the question, were they remnants of the Tartarian Empire, conveniently disguised as temporary exhibits and then destroyed to hide their origins?
More than 130 years ago, the city of Chicago, Illinois seemed too grand to be real. This was the location of the 1893 World's Fair, also known as the Columbian Exposition. At the heart of this historical phenomenon was an ephemeral metropolis known as the White City. The fairgrounds sprawled over 600 acres, featuring more than 200 monumental structures that defied imagination. The Manufacturers and Liberal Arts Building alone covered nearly 32 acres. With the capacity to fit 4 of the great Roman Colosseum inside and seat 300,000 people, its vastness was almost incomprehensible. One of the event's most iconic images is the 65-foot golden statue of the Republic, gleaming in the sun and towering over the central lagoon of an elaborate canal system. Borrowing ideas from ancient Venice, visitors could cover more territory by traveling in Venetian-style gondolas through the canals that spanned most of the fairgrounds. Norway even sailed a full-sized replica of a Viking ship across the ocean to be put on display. Approximately 27 million people from around the world were introduced to foods that have since become universally recognizable, such as peanut butter, Hershey's chocolate, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Cracker Jacks, juicy fruit gum, and Vienna sausages, to name a few. The integration of electrical power into nearly every aspect of our lives can, in many ways, be traced back to this event. Electricity lit the night, with the grounds illuminated by more than 100,000 incandescent light bulbs, a recently patented invention at the time. Technological marvels such as the first practical electric automobile and the first electric kitchen with an automatic dishwasher were also introduced. The entertainment area brought to the public the concept of amusement parks, with attractions, sideshows, international villages, and the first widespread use of souvenir merchandise like postcards, coins, and other memorabilia. Interestingly, spray paint and the concept of whitewashing can also be traced to the fair. The very first Ferris wheel was created for the event by bridge builder and steel magnate George Washington Gale Ferris. As the story goes, he sought to rival the Eiffel Tower, the highlight of the 1889 Paris Fair. At 264 feet tall, his wheel could accommodate 2,160 people at a time and offered panoramic views of the entire fairgrounds. The precursor to the electric moving sidewalk from the 1900 Paris Expo was also debuted in Chicago. It was constructed on the pier to save people from having to walk the 2,500-foot length to and from their steamships. Much like its successor in Paris, there were multiple platforms moving at different speeds in a looping circuit. The first platform was for standing and moved at only 3 miles per hour, while the second, fitted with benches, moved slightly faster at 6 miles per hour. As we delve deeper into the World's Fair events, a pattern begins to emerge, one that seems to defy the conventional history we've all been taught. In cities all over the world, we consistently see the same grand and ornate structures, civil engineering and infrastructure projects being constructed on a colossal scale within an impossible time frame. Less than 30 years after the Civil War, we find cities like Chicago looking as if they could be part of Vatican City or anywhere else in Old World Europe. Yet we're told that everything was built using wood, plaster, and temporary materials, with the intention of demolishing them when the fair ended. However, without exception, some isolated buildings still stand today because some were constructed with permanent materials. Everything else got destroyed. But we get a glimpse of the craftsmanship involved through structures like the Art Institute of Chicago and the Museum of Science and Industry. In Chicago's case, the majority of the fairgrounds didn't need to be demolished because they were conveniently destroyed by fire a few months after the event ended. Why were certain ones constructed from permanent materials? And why did they so often hold the title of the world's largest building at the time? It raises the question, how could the world's largest buildings have been constructed using mostly temporary materials? Are we to believe that just over a century ago, people made a habit of building some of the largest, most magnificent, and ornate buildings ever seen, only to use them for a few months? Even if we disregard the buildings themselves, the earthworks involved in these projects would challenge modern capabilities and equipment under such tight timelines. And most importantly, why would they do all of this just to destroy it? Could the World's Fair events have been the perfect cover to hide the remnants of a unified global system that existed before the upheaval of the Civil War and 2 world wars were used to reshape our world? The similarities between the narratives surrounding the fairs, the architecture, and the scale all seem to point to something more than coincidence. It suggests a carefully orchestrated erasure of a past we were never meant to remember. We have to ask ourselves, how much of our history has been rewritten? What has been lost? And how much has been hidden in plain sight?